the ministry could have gone through. One of my...
Sir, it's not a ministry.
No,
Judiciary, please.
The judicial.
It is like parliament. It's an arm of government.
Yes. Technicalities. Let's go for substance. So, let's go to unrefunded money for court bail. You have 24 billion. You have 24 billion of public money, which has been out there in the Bank of Uganda. People don't pay back horse money. You people don't. So can you explain why this money keeps accumulating? Accumulation, it is page 25, 2441. Page 25. I note in your report, I have an original report, which I normally look on. In yours is 31. I normally follow an original audit report.
I want to thank my neighbor, Honorable Seungu, for lending me his eyes. Yes. And they are doing a great job. Yes. Chair, I found my good friend, the PS, Pius, summarizing something. But I had also had an opportunity to go through this document. Chair, you recall the Human Rights Committee of Parliament went to Luzira. And while we were in Luzira, there are people in Luzira who have spent, for example, a specific case, 28 years on remand. 28 years, yes. In fact, that particular case, Chair, as we were moving, this guy was in the window shouting, "Bana ya babaka tubalabye nakamala wane myaka 28." And it attracted us. So we got interested in that case. Now, when you, and you recall the speaker directed that they give us a list. But the issue was not for Luzira. The issue was for the judiciary. Completely an issue of the judiciary. Now, when you look at these cases, and maybe along the way, perhaps they could make a comment. When money is given to you, you budget for it and it is given to you. And the output shows that it was not 100%, but money was actually released. All. Maybe perhaps what is missing here in the document is an explanation on whether the money was actually swept back. Yes. Now, when you say you used it all, and the output is not 100%, then either there was a diversion or a mischarge or something like that. So you have to explain how you use all the money 100% on a budgeted activity, and yet the output does not show that the amount of money used is not in tandem with output. I think that's something you have to explain. Now, Chair, specifically on International Crimes Division, PS, there is a case I am handling. Jamil Mukulu and 33 others. It's before the International Crimes Division. Those people have been on remand for the last 10 years. A good number of them are from Bujiri. Sheikh Ibrahim Wasigu, Rashid Wasigu, Sheikh Wanjala. Yes, that's why I have interest in ICD. The International Crimes Division chair, for your information, the majority are Muslims. In the International Crimes Division, the majority are Muslims. Okay? And I am concerned that this particular case, PS, 12, they have been on remand for 10 years on remand. And out of the 10 years, Chair, they have appeared in court about 3 times. 3 times. And for pre-trial hearing. Pre-trial. Now, when we get those scenarios and share with you, and you find here a situation that some cases have not been disposed of, and money has been spent, it really causes many questions. So perhaps, Chair, for the comfort of this committee, PS, and your team, this is something you must come out to explain to our satisfaction on how money is released, it is fully utilized, but then output is not 100%. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, listen, and in addition to what he's saying, you could educate us. What exactly happens on your judicial officers where there is laziness in them? Because you have seen money spent. Of course, if you go for analysis of different courts, you will see where there is poor performance. As I stated earlier, what exactly happens? I happened to explain when I talked about myself being a teacher and my books being given to the head teacher and the director of studies to confirm that I've taught children. The evidence is by the lesson plans I prepare and marking books. Now, where money has been spent, and we are told there are judicial officers who don't dispose cases, what exactly happens under your docket? Can you educate us, madam? Because there is no way, there is no institution where there is no supervision at a certain level. It can't. Even us here in Parliament, these people here have brought new rules. I missed 10 sittings of this committee. There will be a problem on me. But of course, I will not be among those. I'm always here. And if I get out, you will be the happiest. But I'm here. So could you help us? Mr.
Honorable
Chairman,
colleagues, let me help you. For example, Honorable Suman, and predictable, they predict. Because budgeting and activity approval on a budget is the heart of budgeting. Now, for you to permit to continue feeding the PS that these are like moving objects, they change as you may not be in the cooking pot. They are there. They are supposed to feed you, and I'm telling you, they are giving you a raw deal. With today's knowledge, scientific evidence in planning, I'm an economist, these explanations can no longer pass. These explanations of, situations, nearly when you are budgeting, even you factor in that unpredictability and say there could be scenarios. So what factor of money should we put in to speak to that? So that you don't have these queries. But also elsewhere, and I'm being honest with you, elsewhere we've dealt with implementation of activities, partial implementation and non-implementation is where there is huge diversions of public funds to unbudgeted for activities. Because for you to spend money, you must justify an activity to withdraw it from government. I think you know it. For you to I'm not saying corruption, I'm very careful. Okay? For you to even mischarge and divert public money, it must be tied down to an activity and an output. So what agencies do is that this is what they do. They either overprice activities or what they do, they fail to implement, they partially implement activities. You are lucky for you, it is easy to compute because these were cases you put forward, and I commend you for that. And you budgeted for them. Put a figure. You could easily do. But imagine if it's a road and it's partially done. It is not easy for this committee to quantify the 5 billion I've quantified for you, because the mathematics is very difficult. So when you are tackling this issue, I've said in this financial year, every year we have a target. We need to help a country and unpack the issue of partial implementation and non-implementation of activities where public money is spent. So we are not being merciful in any way. This is the country we call home. Me and our colleagues are remaining with 1.5 years. We don't know whether we will back. But even if we don't come back, we want to have moved you to another level. So you planner, give us an explanation, sir, why you cannot plan well for this ministry. Because you are the one causing these problems.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. What I'm going to give is not different from what the PS and the Acting Chief Registrar has mentioned. Now, normally, when we do our budgeting, and specifically setting targets, we look at the way we performed in the previous financial year. And then we also look at the number of judicial officers in the different courts. And we sit with the judicial officers and we agree on the targets, looking at the way we performed during the financial year which ended. And then we also look at the staffing levels in order to guide us in coming up with the realistic targets. Now, Chair, like we said, we basically we come up with estimates. Now, during implementation, sometimes it becomes a different story. That is why when you look at the different courts, some courts, the variance is small, some courts, the variance is high. Now, like the Chief Registrar said, the inputs that are used during adjudication of these cases have different monetary values or costs. For example, as PS talked about, you need the witnesses. Now, some cases, of course, when we are estimating, we take a certain number of witnesses, but some cases you'll find so many witnesses. Chair, I just want to draw to your attention an example of Magara case, for example. Now, you find such a case, there are so many witnesses. Now, that case, because of so many witnesses, it may end up eating money which should have been used to pay witnesses of another case because of the number of cases. And some of these cases, Chair, they normally take priority because of the nature of such a case. And again, as PS talked about the period, some of these cases also take a lengthy period during adjudication. And when a case takes more time, it becomes costly compared to the ordinary case, which can take a short time for it to be disposed of. And then, Chair, of course, the other issue that needs to be appreciated, the issue of adjournment, which at times emanates also from the different lawyers. So a judicial officer is available, but because of the several adjournments which originate from the lawyers. Now, I'm just trying to justify why the case will take long for it to be concluded. Now, for us, when we are providing performance, now, the case takes...
Let's provide clarification, because judge, in fact, a presiding officer can decide not to agree to any adjournment. He will set timetables. He said, I am going to hear this case within this period of time. I can only adjourn. In fact, you know, before, when we were practicing about 15 years ago, and the chair there has been one of my clients, we used to adjourn even by way of you would appear. But now, the instructions are that when you come to hold a brief, for example, you must be prepared to proceed. So I think the blame on the advocates should really be, should not be there. You really have the power, the judicial officers have the power and control over the pace of a case. There are judicial officers, for example, who are known for not entertaining adjournments. They will tell you, I have come to hear your case. If you are sick, you are not alone in a law firm. They will tell you, you don't run a single woman or single man law firm. If you are sick, your colleague should come and handle. So let's use some other.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Accounting Officer, it's very dangerous, and I think this kind of statement shouldn't be accepted, because one of the officers is accepting that we advocates are running courts. That's what he's trying to say. If you talk about adjournments from advocates, it means your powers of judges are under the control of the advocates who come as staff of courts of law. I think that's not acceptable. And at the beginning, to I had agreed with him, he said that what the two officers, the chief, the registrar and you, what you said is almost the same. So if he's bringing unentertainable statements which weaken judiciary, I would pray that you let him keep there. It doesn't add on. We move with what you are saying. Otherwise, we are going to get a problem. If such a statement goes out, that Sewu and Wasadi determine adjournments of courts or what, because there is a court in court, it means it is us now running courts at the cost of your powers as judges, presiding officers. And I wouldn't accept that as a younger advocate.
Honorable, one, I had in between there you said, yes, you use previous experiences, sit down with the judges, all in an effort for on a search for exactness. Now, not a single case is on the lower side. Do you know what I mean? For all the 9 cases cited here, from all divisions, is that there is no way you would say we planned to, where you did more. You only did less across board. Because where you are saying they could even out, where you expect a case not to take this long, here you take a short time. In the end of the day, they could even out. And here's what I want to, small monies, the way we lose public money is not in one tranche. It's that you lose it on small bits. In a division, you lose 400 billion. Before you know it, the total sum is 5. This is my, I'll ask the committee if they wish to do. We don't intend to re-audit you, because that's too much asking for our staff on this matter. The difference is established is 5 billion, sir. The auditor says you did not provide evidence. I'm going to give you an opportunity for each of those 9 items to account for every penny. Rest, I'll hold you responsible for a loss. We will, not me. We will hold you responsible for a loss of 5.5 billion, which was spent, which was given to you, you spent, and no work was done. And of late, Parliament gave us, in the previous audit, to name any accounting officer. Not, I will not say the accounting officer for justice. I will say the accounting officer for justice, Mr. Pius Bigirimana.
Not justice, sir. I'm not an accounting officer for justice.
For judicial, that is, the ruling of Parliament was that we should drop this naming of officers. We should attach a name. We will attach a name to any accounting officer who has these cases. So I'm giving you a window to go and do whatever you can do, because you never provided this evidence to the auditor. Go and account for 5.5 billion, how it was spent on each and every division. 2 weeks are enough.
Yeah, actually, Magala case can help you very much. You can put a lot of money
We
there
want where they,
and remove. I'm telling you. He said it.
PS, where they spent 4.8, okay? They are going to give us a breakdown of 4.8 for the cases you did. And tell us we had these witnesses, blah, 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 and we decide that. Because that's the only way we can solve this. For you are saying we are a neutral committee. The auditor, you never provided him with evidence at the time of exit. For you are saying, no, we did not waste this money. We spent it justifiably, only that the cost kept on varying. That is, can be understood and established. Because the money was spent, the activities are known, you can account for each one.
But Chairman, they are not thanking you, yet you have given them 2 weeks.
I'm going to thank after he has finished.
Yes. At least we hear you hitting the tables that can solve the key issue. I can speak the other language.
Fair. We don't want to judge you.
Mr. Chairman, Honorable Seung is always provoking me. I am going to thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to make the points a little more clear. And the 2 weeks you have given us, we are going to come back to you.
And you know what
But I've not mentioned your name, Pius. I've talked about
bring
you.
them to me, but I'll pass them over to the very auditor
Thank you.
for verification.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, members. Let me also thank the members for being understanding.
Honorable colleagues,
Not Seung.
Honorable colleagues, there are other policy-related audits which the ministry could have gone through. One of my
Sir, it's not a ministry.
No, the
Judiciary, please.
The judicial.
It is like parliament. It's an arm of government.
Yes. Technicalities. Let's go for substance. So, let's go to unrefunded money for court bail. You have 24 billion. You have 24 billion of public money, which has been out there in the Bank of Uganda. People don't pay back horse money. You people don't. So can you explain why this money keeps accumulating? Accumulation, it is page 25, 2441. Page 25. I note in your report, I have an original report, which I normally look on. In yours is 31. I normally follow an original audit report.
Chair, as the judiciary, we have we've come up with methods to sensitize people because this is their money. It is not our money. And we do notice that the money keeps increasing. Number one, because we have more cases being registered. And of course, when they come to court, they grant them cash bail in some circumstances. But also this money has to go out to the people who are entitled to it when their cases are complete. So what we have done, we have intensified sensitization. We do this sensitization on radios, on TVs, to tell people that when your case is finished, please come and get your money back. We have made flyers, we have made booklets, and we've distributed this in court open days. We have distributed this in places where we are visible. And so quite a number of people have turned up, and so we continue to do this sensitization because we also do realize that it is not our money and we want these people to get their money back. So it is a process that is ongoing. It is what we are putting our efforts on. And so, Chair, currently we are receiving higher bail refund applications than before, and we shall continue with that effort, Chair.
Honorable question, is there anyone with an issue there?
A process of requesting for this money. how I wish we can also innovate for a plausible process. Innovative. If somebody is to include their account on this receipt, whatever you should do, so that when the case is disposed of, you return people's money without somebody having to walk to your place to look for their money. Because you know what it means. At times we end cases when we are very frustrated. Some people might have died because at times you take long to conclude cases. Be innovative enough to ensure how best can you return people's money. We've gone electronic. So for me, I don't agree with manual refunding money. For me, I don't agree with it. If they deposit their money, if you conclude the process and good enough, you've gone on ICMIS. You call it ICMIS? This process of, tracking cases. Track, case completed, return people's money. Why do you have to keep it?
A lot in sensitizing recovery of bail money. That is happening. At least I have heard and seen you in different parts of the media. But I think despite that information, the process remains a little bit bureaucratic. So maybe moving forward, can you find a way of making it less bureaucratic, especially with the technology around? I think you are going to minimize some of these concerns. But also too, sometimes people just don't come for their money. And I'm among them. When you guys arrested me, you remember, Chair, in 2011 when they threw us in Luzira, 500,000 bail. I left it for you. You take. And I know there are many others,
including myself,
including you, Chair.
Yeah, I have
and
a lot of money.
You not once, not once, not twice. So it is also true that we are looking at this figure, but the public has generally, if it's 100,000, 200,000. I know people who are running for this money. It's usually 1 million, 2 million. There's 3 million I'm looking for from Kasangati. That one I will get.
But
that one for sure. But I think, Chair, the issue that the PS, they should really be more innovative and creative to make it less bureaucratic.
So there is also the question of Habibu, who had to really demonstrate to recover his 3 million of bail. Yes.
They know that you were also looking for your bail, but granted. So I want us really to agree with you that we shall see how to make some innovations to have this bail refund returned quickly. To save time, I am promising you next time I come here, hopefully I'll still be in Judicial, we shall have innovated. And she has brought some good idea which we will think about. Yeah.